Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome inside East Gymnasium here at Fort Lee High School, the setting for our Big North American Division showdown between two arch rivals. Cliffside Park, the Red Raiders, 3-6 on the season, have come calling to take on the Fort Lee Bridgemen, 8-2 in head coach Kelly Lane's first ever season as the head coach. Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Long, courtside here, alongside Renee Matisich, our camera operator, as well as our producer, Dimitri Nanis. So glad that he could join us for another edition of Fort Lee girls basketball action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Fort Lee is red hot right now this season. They come in on an 8-game win streak after beginning the season 0-2 here at home. They're going to be trying to add to their win total in conference play as they're trying to go to 3-0 in the Big North American Division with a win here today against their arch rivals. Opening tip is won by Ava Zoglu, and Fort Lee will start on offense. Ava Zoglu flashing across the middle of the lane. Here's a kick out, long range three, knocked down. 3 cans by Layla Jones. Fort Lee already out in front, 3-0. Opening possession, here's the hounding full court pressure. As that pressure nearly led to a turnover, but Cliffside Park takes it over down the other way. The shot by Veronica Correa is no good. Here comes Janelle Lewis, pushing the pace coast to coast, gets fouled on her way up, and that'll send Janelle Lewis to the foul line to shoot a pair. Lewis, the leading scorer for this Fort Lee side, averaging just under 25 points per game. She is coming off a career best here at Fort Lee, 37 points in a win against Bergen Tech. Lewis a little too strong in the first foul shot opportunity. 37 points, 11 steals, 6 rebounds, nearly a triple-double. Second foul shot is good. Lewis is on the board, her first point of the afternoon. And Fort Lee has raced down to an early 4-0 advantage. Cliffside Park is coached by Brandy Luderer, the head coach, and now another steal produced by Janelle Lewis. Lewis again trying to initiate the contact. We play on, no foul, but Lewis sinks the made layup. She's got a quick 3 points, 6-0 spread for the Bridgemen. Cliffside Park getting it past midcourt, trying to feed it underneath. Nearly turned it over again, and now it looks like they will as Catalina Gill got in the passing lane. What a no-look pass there to a cutting Janelle Lewis out of the hands of Layla Jones, and just like that, a timeout on the floor for Cliffside Park. The Red Raiders have succumbed to an 8-0 deficit with only 6:44 left to go here in the first half. In the blink of an eye, Fort Lee is out and running, and Janelle Lewis is doing all of that. 5 points already, 5 unanswered points in this game for the team's leading scorer. Fort Lee has feasted on their arch rivals in recent years. Fort Lee has won the last 16 straight matchups against Cliffside Park. Last win for the Red Raiders came here at East Gymnasium on January 29, 2013, a 54-49 win. Since that loss in 2013, again, it's been all Fort Lee against Cliffside Park, having won 16 in a row. Fort Lee is now up to 8-2 on the season, coming off a 55-32 win against Bergen Tech as part of the She Balls 2 showcase that was held on Saturday. Fort Lee 2-0 in the Big North American Division after winning games against Dumont and Ridgefield Park. Trying to take care of business here today at home and make it a 9-game win streak. Again, here comes that pressure defense, really forcing Cliffside Park out of their comfort zone. Correa trying to win back possession, and she does. Correa hard to the rim, blocked away by Pecan, but not to be denied was Veronica Correa. And the sophomore who leads the team with 7 points a game gets Cliffside Park their first made basket of the afternoon. It's an 8-2 lead now for Fort Lee. Catalina Gill was open, extra pass. Ava Zoglu tries to contort the body as she's going up for the shot. Got fouled in the act of shooting, and that'll send Ellis Ava Zoglu to the line to shoot 2. Ava Zoglu, the leading rebounder on this team, averaging 5 boards a game, also averaging 6 points a game as the team's starting center. And Evazoglu will sink the first foul shot. He had a season-high 13 points in a win against Bogota in that holiday tournament that Fort Lee would go on to win against Hackensack in the championship final. Evazoglu goes 1 of 2 at the line. 9-2 advantage now for Fort Lee. Just 2 minutes gone by here in the opening quarter of play. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. Here's another deflection and another steal, secured this time by Lewis. Down the floor to Jones. Jones sets and fires. No good. Pagan tried to tip it out to her teammate. Good defensive rebounding underneath the hoop, though, by Cliffside Park. That'll give the Red Raiders possession back on offense. This is a team that is starved for points on offense this season. They only average around 27.5 points per game. That's not going to cut it against a team in Fort Lee. It's been averaging 57 points per game this season. Cliffside Park will do the inbounding. Passing it back up top now to Sophia Toro. A steal by Evazoglu, and she'll go coast to coast with a left-hand layup. Ellis Evazoglu now with 3 points on the afternoon. 11-2 advantage Fort Lee. Another steal. This time the drive and dish, but it went off the fingertips of Catalina Gill out of bounds last touch after Layla Jones was trying to feed it down low. Full court pressure being administered here by Pagan and Fort Lee. Fort Lee has done an effective job early on in this first quarter of forcing countless number of turnovers here for Cliffside Park. Correa sets and fires from deep off the back iron. Jones secures the loose ball rebound. Jones with her head up all the way. One of the senior guards that have made their presence felt. New addition to this program this year for Fort Lee. Pagan a little rushed inside, missed the first shot opportunity, tries to go up with a second, but that one doesn't go as Desiree Nieves with a rebound for Cliffside Park. That is deflected out of bounds off the hands of Janelle Lewis. Possession will stay with Cliffside. 4:39 left to go in the first quarter. And the Bridgmen enjoying a 9-point advantage. Correa getting it over to Nieves. Extra pass. Open shot in the far side, and that three-pointer is knocked down by Sophia Toro. Toro with the first 3 of the game for Cliffside Park. She averages just under 4 points per game. Evazoglu inside, uncontested layup. And Evazoglu up to 5 points here in the first quarter. As we're reaching the midway point to the first. Here's a steal and an ensuing bump foul. Whistle against Cliffside Park after another turnover presented and produced by Janelle Lewis. That's going to be a foul against Amelia Moreno, and for Moreno, that is her second personal foul. She's got 2 of the 3 fouls committed in this game by Cliffside Park. Fort Lee has yet to commit a foul. Evazoglu inside the lane, and she's feasting early on here in this rivalry. 7 points in the quarter for the starting center for Fort Lee. Lead is 10, 15-5. Hounding defense being administered there by Catalina Gill, but a little too close. She'll get called for the hand check foul. That'll be her first and the team's first with 3:48 left to go in our first quarter of action. Moreno will come off the floor now for Coach Litterer as Cliffside Park goes to their bench. Correa trying to carve out space inside. Here's a uncontested shot, but just too high and wide of the mark. Here's Lewis in the open floor trying to get it down to Jones. Gill works it around to Lewis. Lewis has 5 in the quarter. Thought about the pull-up 3. Good contest there outside by Nieves. Here's a long-range rainbow of a jump shot. 3-point attempt, no good by Jones. Eventually, the rebound taken in, and now advancing down the floor is Cliffside Park there in the road black. Worked into the corner now to Toro. Toro's pass is intercepted. Jones, uncontested layup on the right side. Jones also now with 5 points in the quarter. 17-5 advantage now for Fort Lee. Lewis with the thievery here. Lewis weather the contact, not phased at all after getting bumped by Nieves. And Lewis now with 7 points. And it looks like it might have been a violation as well on the inbounds for Cliffside Park. That's going to lead to a turnover and give another offensive possession here for Fort Lee. With 2:41 left to go in the first quarter. All Bridgmen right now, 19-5 advantage. Last year was a low-scoring, close game here at East Gym. Fort Lee won 40-32. Jones that time misfired from the near side corner from 3. That hit off the top of the backboard out of bounds. That'll send the ball right back over to Cliffside Park. Cliffside Park began their season losing their first 6 games before defeating Bergenfield for their first win on December 30th. They come in having won their last 2 games, but they are having all sorts of trouble. Putting her defender in the spin cycle was Layla Jones. A thing of beauty after producing the steal and spun around her defender underneath the rim for the layup. Jones, Lewis, and Ava Zoglu are thriving right now here for Fort Lee, up to 21 points already here in the first quarter. And still, we have 2 minutes and change remaining here in quarter number 1 at East Gymnasium. Pagan, foul line extended, getting it over to Lewis, and Lewis will knock down the 3. Everything going the way of Fort Lee right now. They lead by 19. With under 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. They are exploding offensively. Cliffside Park has not had a bad defense this season. They've been allowing 42 points a game this season to their opponents. They've just really had their troubles here on this end of the floor on offense. And Fort Lee's defense came to play, inspired brand of ferocious basketball here today. That's going to be a foul in the act of shooting, and that will send Desiree Nieves to the foul line to shoot 2. Nieves coming off a 6.7 steal and 4 assist performance against Dwight Morrow, a game that they won 41-16. As Nieves is too strong in that first one. Dwight Morrow is the one team in the division that Fort Lee has not been able to see just yet in the season. As that's going to be a shot violation after Nieves misses a pair. Fort Lee 2-0 after wins in divisional play against Dumont and then back here at home against Ridgefield Park. Pagan flashing at the elbow. Steps through the defense. Outlets it over to Catalina Gill on the far baseline. Back inside to Pagan. Pagan bumped off the ball a bit. Missed on the shot. Correa now trying to bring it up the floor. Watch closely. Shuffling the defensive feet. There was Jones. Shot from the outside. Just got a piece of the lower part of the rim. Now bringing it down the other way. Here comes Fort Lee coming up in the final minute of the first quarter. Here's Lewis from 3. No good. Rebounded inside, though, by Cliffside Park, as that rebound was secured by Alessia Valerio. Valerio, the freshman, number 4, has come out on the floor. Now with under a minute left to go in quarter number 1. Fort Lee raced out to an early 8-0 lead, have not looked back since. A lot of turnovers leading to a lot of transition plays, and look at that blazing quickness by Janelle Lewis. She weaved her way down the length of the floor and then found her way to pay dirt. She's got 12 in the quarter. 26-5 now, the Fort Lee lead on Cliffside Park. With 25 seconds and counting left to go in our opening quarter of action. Fort Lee playing like a team that's interested in maybe garnering one of the top 3 seeds in the upcoming playoffs. Here's another steal by Layla Jones, and Layla Jones deposits it for 2 more points. She's got 9. 28-point first quarter of play for Fort Lee. Cliffside Park trying from distance, and Correa from just inside the half-court stripe missed on the 3. And what a quarter it was for Fort Lee. The Bridgemen on top of Cliffside Park by a score of 28-5. We'll be back for the start of the second here on YouTube. What a dominant first quarter of play for Fort Lee. They had 28 points from 3 different players. Janelle Lewis with a game-high 12 points, Layla Jones with 9, and Ellis Avazoglu with 7. Each of them had more points than Cliffside Park had in that opening quarter with only 5. Sophia Toro with a 3 and Veronica Correa with 2, accounting for the point totals for the Red Raiders. I'm Dan Long, joined alongside by Renee Matisich and Dimitri Nanis. Another edition of Fort Lee girls basketball action. The Bridgemen started off their season 0-2, lost at home here against Tenafly and Westwood, but since then have gone on a run. As Correa tries to maneuver inside, got that blocked away. Still possession stays with the Red Raiders. Leading shot on the baseline, no good. Trying to contend for that loose ball rebound, bounced off the ball. Good job of Nieves of winning it back from Jones, who's trying to pry it out of her hands. Cliffside, nice give and go inside, but another missed layup. And Lewis will soar for the rebound. Lewis trying to strip through and got fouled as she was cutting towards the rim. Correa got called for the foul. That will be her first, team's 4th. Foul's on the floor, not in the act of shooting. So possession will just stay here with the Bridgemen. Avazoglu, 15-foot jumper, no good. Rebounded underneath by Cliffside Park and Jenna Harb, the junior. So many steals, and again, another steal here. Fort Lee has produced over 10 steals already in the first half, and there's Ellis Avazoglu. She's got 9 in the first half. She's closing in already on a season high. She had 13, as we mentioned, against Pagoda. There's going to be a foul against Fort Lee as Nieves was driving towards the rim with a floater attempt across the middle. And that'll send Nieves once again to the foul line, where she's 0 for 2 so far here in the first half. Nieves will switch that first foul shot attempt and also in the process give her first points of the afternoon. Last season, 6 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists against Fort Lee. For Nieves, who missed it, Correa tries to clean it up on the offensive glass. She also missed it. Inside, Harb tried to follow it up. Pinpoint opportunities there, and point-blank opportunities gone by the wayside. What a move to the rim by Lewis. Kind of hung up in the air as well, got fouled. She couldn't complete the layup, but she just did an amazing job of slicing through that defense and cutting through the double team. Lewis rattles in the first foul shot of the second quarter. Lewis now with 13 points in the afternoon. Fort Lee, as we mentioned, winners of 8 in a row. They defeated Mahwah, Bloomfield, Pagoda, Rutherford, Hackensack, Dumont, Ridgefield Park, and Bergen Tech in their last 8. Big reason why the play of Janelle Lewis. 2 for 2 that time down. 3 for 4 at the foul line. 14 points now for number 2 in white. Pass over to the near side, trying to kick it out over to the far side of Valerio, who tracks it down, and the double team comes to her. Olivia Hausman has come onto the floor for the first time for head coach Kelly Lane, and eventually that will lead to a turnover produced yet again by the Bridgemen. And it's never too early to start considering the playoff picture, as the cutoff is a month from tomorrow. February 11th is your playoff cutoff, and based on power points, that's how the top 16 teams in each section get seeded. And there's a step-back 3 by Lewis. Lewis's second triple of the first half. She's got 17 in the game. Fort Lee right now would be in the number 3 seed position for North 2 Group 3, behind Chatham and Randolph. And if they keep on playing at this pace, they may get one of those top 2 seeds when everything's said and done. Jones got that one deflected as she was trying to stop and pop inside the lane. Pagan now steals it away. Pagan got it stolen away from her by Nieves. Good hustle on the play by the junior Red Raider. And that'll send Nieves once again back to the foul line. Nieves missing on that first opportunity. She's only hit one foul shot so far here today. Leads the team in steals with just around 3 steals per contest. Cliffside Park is also a part of that North 2 Group 3 bracket. This would go a long way if they were ever to find a way to secure a win on the road, power points-wise, against Fort Lee. Another missed foul shot by Nieves, but ensuing offensive rebound kept the possession alive, and that'll be another foul charged against Fort Lee. That time the foul will go against Roxanne Perez, her first, team's 5th. So both teams have committed 5 fouls apiece so far here in the first half. Foul shot is rattled down and good for Veronica Correa. Correa had 11 points and 9 rebounds in their win against Dwight Morrow on January 5th. That was their last time they played. And the ensuing putback rebound inside by Nieves after the miss by Correa cashes in on that long sustained offensive possession. 35-9 now the Fort Lee advantage. Trying to pass inside, that pass got stolen away by Correa. Correa tries a one-handed baseball pass. That got intercepted, deflected initially by Lewis. Evazoglu with the steal. There's Lewis again with reckless abandon across the middle. Not a contact, no call. As we play on with 3 minutes gone by here in the second. Wide open 3, and that's knocked down again. This time by Alessia Valerio. Second 3 of the game for Cliffside Park. Valerio's first of the contest. Red Raiders have put up 7 points in this quarter after only being held to 5 points in the first quarter. Beautiful set shot there by Evazoglu. Showing off the mid-range touch. Ellis has 11 here in the first half. 37-12, the advantage now for Fort Lee. Valerio dumping it off inside. Correa now trying to get it over into that near side corner. Another three-point attempt and back-to-back triples knocked down by the freshman, Alessia Valerio. Had season best 8 points against People's Prep. She's approaching that number already with 6 points here in the quarter. Perez did a good job of picking it up, and the loose ball finish leads to the layup inside. Roxanne Perez with 2. 39-15 past the midway point of the second quarter. Once again, Nieves did a good job of initiating the contact, knowing that the defender was playing more with their hands than with their feet. And Desiree Nieves back to the foul line where she's been aplenty so far in the first half. Just hasn't been able to cash in all that often. She does there. Nieves now with 4 points in the half. 2 of 7 at the line here in the first half for Desiree Nieves. She has been there early and often. Nothing but net there. 5 points now for number 1 in black. That foul was against Paula Pestic, who's now trying to take the shot for Fort Lee. Just coming in the game, had it deflected away. Evazoglu trying to get it going. It's going to be deflected, last touch out of bounds off of Cliffside Park. Possession stays here with the Bridgemen as Hausman will do the inbounding. Try to get it inside to Perez. Good job in the active passing lanes with their active hands is Cliffside Park. They procure possession. Now that's going to be a travel against Nieves, and you have to credit the play of Layla Jones. She flashed out to try to frustrate that passing opportunity, and Nieves had to hesitate and turned it over. Both teams, comedy of errors here, all different turnovers, eventually leads to the transition layup by Nieves. 7 points now for Desiree. Lead is down to 20, 39-19. Fort Lee getting a little sloppier here on offense. They were on all cylinders in the first quarter. 28 points for the Bridgemen. Perez getting tied up inside, desperately looking for an outlet. It's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow favors Fort Lee, so it stays here. Hausman getting it in. Ava Zoglu. A lot of contact inside. No call. They're saying that was a clean block when there was a lot of contact, as looked like Ava Zoglu was going to be heading to the foul line. That one dribbled off the foot of a Cliffside Park player right in front of Kelly Lane and the Fort Lee sideline. That'll go out of bounds for yet another turnover here for the Red Raiders in the first half. That has been their undoing. Jones up top to Hausman. Hausman's a three-point specialist, and she shows why. She was not covered at the top of the key, and Hausman said, "Thank you very much. I'll take that," and swishes home another three-pointer. Tipped around the perimeter. Now in the baseline, Correa trying to bank it in, no good. Follow-up attempt inside by Moreno, and that'll be tipped out of bounds. Last touch off of Fort Lee. 42-19 the advantage now with 1:48 left to go in our first half of play. Hausman, that was her 12th three-pointer of the season, behind only Janelle Lewis's team-high 19. Second on the team in triples. Ava Zoglu will get a much-earned breather now as she'll come out of the game. Into the corner. Cross-court pass intercepted by Hausman. Hausman looking up, unselfishly looking for her teammate, but the layup was missed by Jones. Did not reestablish herself fully in bounds when it carried back out to her. So possession will go back over to Cliffside Park with 93 seconds left to go in our first half of play. Nieves with a game-high 7 right now for Cliffside. Corner three ball. No good in the near side. That deflects out of bounds. They're going to say again it stays here as it was last touched by Roxanne Perez. Another three-point look, but Hausman will secure the rebound on the near side. She got tripped up in the play, also got fouled in the process. That's why she lost her footing. That foul will be the second personal foul against Desiree Nieves. Team 6. So foul shots for both teams the rest of the way. Both teams up to 6 fouls apiece in the first half. Pestic was trying to look inside for Perez. Got that stolen away by Nieves. Fast break opportunity, but missed layup for Cliffside Park. Nieves does secure the loose ball rebound and got fouled on her way up. So Desiree Nieves, who's been camping out of the foul line here in the first half, will once again have a chance to extend her point total just before halftime. Nieves, again, has shown off the nice form after a slow start at the foul line. She's now knocked in her last 3 consecutive foul shots, and this is going to be her 10th foul shot opportunity of the first half. That foul went against Layla Jones, her first. And that's the broadcaster jinx. As soon as I was lauding praise on Desiree Nieves' foul shooting form, a air ball there now gives possession back over to Fort Lee. 42-20. Cliffside Park picking their offense up here in the second quarter. They've produced 15 points in the quarter. The problem was that they've still surrendered 42 to the opponent. Perez inside, nice drive and dish, and Perez gets hacked on her way up. That'll give Roxanne a chance to add to her point total as well. She's scored 2 points so far in this first half. First foul shot is no good for the junior. Coming off a 3-rebound performance in the win against Bergen Tech. Made foul shot would give her her season best in terms of points. In and out there, missed on a pair. So it remains a 22-point lead for Fort Lee, 42-20 as we come up in the final 30 seconds of the first half. Jones started to extend her defense. Cliffside Park outletting it over to the near side. Here's a corner 3 ball. No good on the air ball by Correa. Rebounded by Fort Lee. They have a chance here to add to their total just before the break. Step back 3 by Jones. Just a little short of the far side, tipped out, but could not get it to go in time as the time expires. But what a first half for the Bridgmen of Fort Lee in this rivalry showdown in the Big North American Division. It's Fort Lee on top, 42-20 at halftime. Stick around us. We'll be back for the start of the second half of play as you're watching Fort Lee girls varsity basketball action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel.
Now introducing your Fort Lee Bridgmen cheerleaders.
Welcome back, everybody, inside East Gymnasium as we're moments away for the resumption of play and the start of the second half. A game that has been dominated by Fort Lee to the tune of a 42-20 lead after the first half of play. Taking a look at the stats from the first half of action. For Cliffside Park, they were led by Desiree Nieves' 8 points in the first half. Alessia Valerio chipped in 6, Sophia Toro with 3, and Veronica Correa with 3. For Fort Lee, a game-high 17 for Janelle Lewis. Alice Avazoglu with 11 points in the half, and Layla Jones with 9. 3 points for Olivia Hausman and 2 points for Roxanne Perez as well. Cliffside Park only managed to produce 5 points total in the first quarter. They were outscored 28-5 in that first quarter of play. They actually outscored the Bridgmen 15-14 in the second quarter. Trying to make this competitive here as we get underway in the start of the second half. I'm Dan Long, so glad that you could join us here on YouTube. Joined alongside by Renee Matisich and Dimitri Nanis. I'd like to thank Mike Raftery, the athletic director here at Fort Lee, for, again, the constant support of bringing you all the sights and sounds on these free YouTube broadcasts brought to you by the Fort Lee Athletic Department. Cliffside Park in the road black, defending in the home whites is Fort Lee. There's a three-point attempt, no good, this time by Toro. Offensive rebound inside by the Red Raiders. No good on the putback by Nieves. Cliffside Park started to generate some success in that second quarter, mainly on the offensive glass. That's been an Achilles heel this season for the Bridgmen at times, including dating back to their first 2 losses of the season. They've rectified that in their last 8, having won 8 in a row coming into today's play. Pagan, extra pass. Here's Jones, sets and fires. Short on the 3. Rebounded out in space by Valeria, but turned right back over as Pagan got the loose ball. Getting it back up top now to Lewis. Lewis had 17, and it seemed like in the blink of an eye she generated those 17 points. Took a big breather in the second quarter. Avazoglu, 2 points away from tying a season high. Patient offense here on the perimeter for Fort Lee. Kick out into the corner for Jones. Jones now with flashing at the foul line is Pagan, no good. Tipped out again, but then eventually the carom is secured by Cliffside Park. Correa running down in the open floor, beat the defense down and got transition basket there. 5 points now for Veronica Correa. First points of the second half go the way of Cliffside Park. It's a 42-22 advantage now for Fort Lee. Lewis pulls up with the jumper. The bank is open here on a Tuesday afternoon, and Janelle Lewis now with 19 points in the game. She has had 7 games of 20 or more points and closing in on another 20-point-plus performance. Avazoglu with a rebound, getting it up top now to Catalina Gill. Gill had 8 points and 5 steals in the win against Bergen Tech over the weekend. Jones back up top to Lewis, feeding inside to Pagan. Pagan trying to carve out her space, and she gets it to drop. Sophia Pagan had it curl around the lip of the rim and finally get it to fall. And now a chance at a three-point play for the senior forward. Averages 4.2 points per game, 3.5 rebounds. She's a hard-nosed leader. Was the leading scorer for this team a season ago. And Pagan gets the three-point play after converting on the foul shot. Standout on the volleyball court as well here inside East Gymnasium, number 22 in white. It's been fun getting to cover her throughout her varsity career here at Fort Lee. Take it inside, Nieves. It was Correa denied entry on a couple of occasions. Now Lewis bringing it down the floor the other way. Lewis kicks it out to Jones. Jones sets and fires. Rainbow 3. First point since the first quarter for Layla Jones, her second made 3 of the game. That is the 5th made three-pointer of this contest for Fort Lee. Valerio looks to answer and does. Alessia Valerio having a career performance here, the freshman with a career best 9 points on 3 made threes. She banked in the triple. Jones lost the handle in midair. Trying to race after it and saving the possession was Avazoglu, and there's a three-pointer knocked down by Lewis. Threes are wild here in the third quarter, as both teams canning it from deep. 53-25, Fort Lee on top with 4:25 left to go in the third quarter. That's going to be a traveling violation against the Red Raiders, giving possession back over to Fort Lee. Lewis up to 22 points in the game. So make that now 8 games this season that Lewis has eclipsed the 20-point threshold. He's coming off a career best 37 in the win against Bergen Tech last game out for Fort Lee. Accomplished little history earlier this season did Janelle Lewis. She went over 1,000 career points in the midst of helping her team win the championship at the J. Mahoney Holiday Fest basketball tournament at Bogota High School. There's Lewis again, sets and fires from straight away. It's a thing of beauty. As now Lewis has exploded 4 3-pointers in this game, 25 points on the afternoon for number 2 in white. The lead is 56-25. Shot missed inside, Hausman with a rebound. Here comes Lewis again. She just explodes for quick bursts. Here's another 3, knocked down. She's in the zone and can't hear us at all. Another 3-pointer, 28 points on the afternoon for Janelle Lewis with 3:37 left to go in the third quarter of play. 59-25 the lead for Fort Lee. And the first place team in the Big North America Division are flexing their muscles here today and showing why they could be serious threats for a sectional title in North 2 Group 3. Janelle Lewis has knocked down 3 threes in this third quarter alone. She's got 5 3-pointers in this game. 28 points, increasing her per-game total. She averages 24.6 points per game, and she has been an absolute revelation since coming here for her senior year at Fort Lee High School. She's up to 22 made threes on the season. She obviously leads the team in that category, and maybe her day is done as well. She takes a seat, and some of the hard-working reserves have come in now for Coach Kelly Lane. 59-25, the advantage right now, with 3:22 left to go. Working around the perimeter. Looking for the open opportunity again. This is great, valuable varsity experience for some of these younger Fort Lee players as Hausman takes it off the dribble, pulls up from 15, is left short. Secures the loose ball rebound, though. They'll get it back up top, getting it from Haley So. Here's Haley So, number 13, the junior. Fort Lee trying to get it inside, but got it stolen away by Cliffside Park. Here come the Red Raiders the other way. The head of steam in front of her. Correa trying to bank it in, no good. Hausman, the So. Cutting inside was Liana James. Trying to get it and force feed that pass inside, but it was turned over. And they were trying to link up to number 20, Olivia Kim, freshman forward. There's a 3. Kim fighting for the rebound, actually lost it. Cliffside Park not able to bank it in as Correa once again trying to poke it free. She's been active here. All the hustle plays right now for number 15. Good job there by Veronica Correa. Not to be denied, Correa finally gets entry and gets the layup. She's got 7 for Cliffside Park. It's going to be a turnover for the Bridgemen. Goes out of bounds, 1:38 left to go in the third. As we approach the final 90 seconds of quarter number 2. Correa from deep. Tipped around inside, rebound taken in by James. Again, the reserves coming in here near the end of the third quarter after the damage was done by Janelle Lewis and the starters. Lewis with 28 points on the night. Rebounds off the missed layup attempt by Hausman. As Fort Lee brings it up, now approaching the final minute of the third quarter. Good ball movement. Hausman with a lean-in jump shot, no good. Chases after her own miss. Looking for an outlet. And it looks like it might be a timeout taken and granted to Kelly Lane. And what a start to her varsity coaching career. Started off with its first 2 losses, but has guided her team to 8 straight, about to be 9 straight wins, with a 59-27 lead here late in the third quarter. Fort Lee will travel to North Bergen High School on January 12th for their next matchup before coming back home to have home games against Hawthorne, Memorial, and Dwight Morrow, January 12th, 14th, 16th, and 17th. All those home games you'll be able to watch here on YouTube. So Hausman will throw it in as James will collect it. Trying to kick it back out into the corner to Hausman. It's dirty on the floor, diving for that one. Near midcourt, good man-to-man defense by Nieves. The pressure trying to force the turnover. Turnover eventually comes the way of Cliffside Park. Pass a little too high for Correa. Correa was possibly inadvertently knocked in the mouth as well, as she was a little slow to get into that offensive set. 30.5 seconds left to go in the third. Again, Fort Lee already passed their per-game scoring average here with about 27 seconds left to go in the quarter. In the third quarter, that is. Would not expect to see the starters back in this game for Coach Kelly Lane. Jump shot no good by Alana James that time. Worked around. Here's a corner 3 ball. It was halfway down for Nieves, but missed. And a rebound underneath there for Fort Lee. So the Bridgemen will take a 59-27 lead with them into the start of the fourth quarter. Stick around, us. We'll be right back here on YouTube. We head to the fourth quarter of play here inside East Gymnasium, and Fort Lee has been leading from start to finish in this game. They raced out to an 8-0 beginning in the first quarter, have not looked back. 59-27. Valuable playing experience coming up here in the fourth quarter for the reserves. The starters still in the game for Cliffside Park, including Veronica Correa, who has now taken control. She's got 9 points to be the leading scorer in this game for the Red Raiders, who came in on a 2-game win streak, but again, they have lost their last 16 in a row in this rivalry against Fort Lee. Have not won since winning here in East Gym in 2013. And it looks like it's going to be a 17th consecutive victory on the way for the Bridgemen. There's a 3 by Correa. Trying to race in after it was Nieves. They've been the 2 best players for Coach Luderer's side all afternoon long. Fort Lee has one of the best 1-2 punches at the guard position, certainly in North Jersey. Layla Jones and Janelle Lewis, and they have coasted here. Janelle Lewis with a 28-point game. Layla Jones with 12. Ellis Ava Zoglu outstanding with 11. Here's an open 3. Valerio has been having the nice touch there from deep. That time rattled in and out. Rebound for So. So got her pocket pick, though, and a steal the other way for Correa. Correa trying to outlet that one underneath to Moreno, but it went long of her, went out of bounds, and will lead to a turnover. Into the game, Jamie West, number 11, the freshman. So again, this youth movement for Kelly Lane. She knows that she will not have the services of a couple of her upperclassmen next year, and that's a nice move inside, and eventually the jumper knocked down by Haley So. So even in these games where the final result is not in doubt, these are huge games for younger players to get them some experience, get them some confidence before they're going to be called on to maybe be starters next season. A foul underneath, as we have had a low fouling affair here in the second half. Only one foul apiece for both teams. That time the foul was against Roxanne Perez. And the foul shot knocked down by Amelia Moreno, a freshman. Nearly had a double-double in her last game. 9 points, 10 rebounds in the win against Dwight Morrow. Moreno shows off the nice shooting touch. 2 for 2 on that foul shot opportunity. She's got 2 points in the game. 61-31, the advantage now for Fort Lee. Good ball movement here for the Bridgemen, but the strip and a steal produced by Cliffside Park. Fort Lee produces one of their own. Naomi Kim was trying to get to it. And there's the double team coming. Cliffside Park racing down the other way. Passing it up top, Valerio with the right-hand layup inside. So Valerio now with a game-high 11 points for Cliffside Park. The freshman who averages 3 a game. Kim getting it back up top. Trying to dump it down low to Perez. Good fronting of the post. That time by Moreno. Nieves tries to get it over. Valerio try to pop it down low to Jana Harb, but Harb couldn't handle that one. Goes out of bounds for the turnover. Just over 5 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter of play. Again, the Bridgemen trying to go to 9-2 on the season, make it 9 straight wins. They would also, with a win, improve to 3-0 in league play. And have first place all to themselves. Cliffside Park came into this game 1-0 in league play. Everyone else has at least one loss on the season in league action. Outlet down the floor. Here's Roxanne Perez in the open floor. Perez stops, pops, and left that one short. Fouled her own miss, but is going to get called for the offensive rebound or the offensive foul, I should say, over the back against Perez. She picks up her third, team second of the half. 4.5 minutes left to go in regulation. Moreno diving on the floor. A couple of different players from both teams. Great hustle from both sides. Jamie West and Roxanne Perez in white were diving for it. Correa, that you'd always expect to be on the floor. She's a feisty player. Great determination for number 15 in black. A steal there by the Bridgemen. Lobbing it down the floor, and they'll just pull up and pull it back out on offense. As we reach the midway points of the fourth quarter, it's going to be a bump foul against Nieves. And for Nieves, that will be foul number 3 in the game. Only the second team foul for Cliffside Park as well. And that's going to be another trip foul coming up against Cliffside Park. Back-to-back fouls. That's going to be a foul against Correa, and for Correa, that will also be her third personal foul. Third team foul with 4:01 left to go. Cliffside Park, after this, will head back home on January 12th to host Ridgefield Park in another big North American Division game. Before then, hitting the road for 3 straight at Fairlawn, at Dumont, and at Ramsey. Valerio. Bullet pass to Moreno. Kick out. Here's a long 3. No good. That time by Toro. She knocked down the first triple of the game for Cliffside Park back in the first quarter. Cliffside Park a season ago played in the first round of the North 2 Group 3 sectional playoffs before losing to Westmore Central. Fort Lee trying to continue their march up the PowerPoint rankings in North 2 Group 3. Right now, coming into play today, they would be the number 3 seed in the playoffs. You have a month to go before the playoff cutoff date of February 11th. Whirling around inside and getting into drop, Liana James, the freshman who had 3 points in the win against Bergen Tech in the last game. A promising future for number 30 in white. Gets her first 2 of this game, 63-33, with under 3 minutes left to go in the game. Stripped away, James forces the steal. Getting it down the other way is Olivia Kim. Giving it to James, giving it back now on the baseline. Fort Lee maneuvering inside, James trying to post up underneath. That eventually gets deflected off. Last touch, they're going to say, is that off of Cliffside Park. And dumped underneath. And in for another 2 for Fort Lee. Almost a steal there by So. Deflected away. Here's So coming out with it. Racing down the other way with the left-hand lip, the hoop and the harm. As Haley So will get another 2 points and a chance at a 3-point play. They'll count the bucket. 2:03 left to go, and So up to 4 points off the bench. And So will bank in the foul shot to make it a 3-point play. 68 points on the board now for Fort Lee. They lead 68-33. And now that also is the most points scored in a single game this season for the Bridgemen. And a foul going up will be charged against Fort Lee. And that'll send Cliffside Park to the foul line with Jenna Diaz, number 3. The freshman who averages just under 5 points per game this season. Their chance at her first points of this afternoon's festivities. As Diaz will miss on the first foul shot. Previously, the high water mark was 65 points for Fort Lee against Bogota. Pair of missed foul shots by Diaz. And Fort Lee will come away with it. Thank you, everybody, for again tuning in to support these student athletes from both fine schools here in our YouTube broadcasts, available live and on demand for free. Spread the word if you're a fan of the Bridgemen or one of the opponents that are going to be coming in, that you could watch all the action. We bring you all the sights and sounds throughout the winter sports season. Girls and boys basketball, wrestling, all here at Inside East Gymnasium, courtesy of Fort Lee Athletics. Underneath, again, another quick foul administered, and once again, that's going to be Jenna Diaz going to the line. That'll momentarily stop the clock with 1:07 left to go in the fourth. Too strong on that first attempt. Diaz rattles it in and gets her first point of the afternoon. She goes 1 of 2 at the line there, 1 for 4 in the game. 68-34, final minute of play here inside East Gymnasium. Another banner performance here for the Bridgemen. They were outstanding early on. They put their foot on the gas pedal in the first quarter, never looked back, raced out to a 28-5 lead. Have never trailed in this game. Their constant hounding defense was sensational and eventually led to point opportunities. Janelle Lewis, an outstanding performance here, 28 points, coming off a 37-point performance their last time out against Bergen Tech. More of the same here today. She caught fire from 3 in the third quarter, knocked down 3 consecutive threes, will finish with 5 made threes in the game. 30 seconds left to go here in the game. James will get it underneath. Kim gets bodied off. Fort Lee just playing keep away and just trying to run out the remainder of the clock here. No need for any more shots. The entire reserve unit and coming to this game with like about the final 2 minutes of the third quarter. And have played the entire fourth quarter here as the starters cheering them on. As So will look to the scoreboard and just dribble out the remaining seconds. And what a performance here at home for the Bridgemen of Fort Lee. They are victorious against arch-rival Cliffside Park by a final score of 68-34. Cliffside Park with a defeat will fall to 3-7 on the season. With a win, Fort Lee will make it 9 straight wins in this prolonged win streak and improve to 9-2 overall on the season. Again, next time out for both teams, Cliffside Park will head home and host Ridgefield Park on the 12th, while Fort Lee will hit the road and head to Hudson County to take on the Bruins of North Bergen High School. The next home game for Fort Lee will come on January 14th as they'll play host to the Bears of Hawthorne High School. So thank you everybody for tuning in to another edition of Fort Lee girls basketball action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. For Dimitri Nanis and Renee Matisich, I'm Dan Long saying so long, and Fort Lee make it 9 straight wins on the season. Take care, everybody.